everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing this super cool stained glass looking poinsettia, which I absolutely love. It will be helpful to have a straight edge or a ruler. If you look along this sample here, I add a little border on each side of my paper just to create a frame almost for my colors. So I can create that background in one color story, but then pull my flower color to the edge. It just helps create balance. So we're going to start with that. Actually, take your paper, turn it landscape, and we're going to add those lines down either side. Try to make them about the same distance away from the edge of the paper if you can. Then in the very center of our paper, we are going to start with our poinsettia center. And we're going to do about a quarter size set of circles that are all going around each other. And they don't have to be perfectly circular. We just want them a variety of different like little seed pods that you would find in the center of a poinsettia. Something like that. And then we want to start our petals. Poinsettias come in staggering petals that very much are different in each layer, especially that very center part. They are almost a different shape while you're doing that. And we want them to be in the position of a star. So we're going to have one petal going straight up, one to either side, and then two coming down at an angle. So we're going to start right off the top, creating almost like a letter V, though it's not going to touch in the middle. We're going to have about one pencil space between those V's. And then we're going to add an upside down letter V with a curve instead of a point. And we want these lines, that V, to be almost the same length as the first line that you made, maybe slightly shorter. We don't want to just do a tiny V that goes just on the top. These are elongated petals. So you want to make sure they're a little longer. Then we're going to do our V. I turn my paper and do a V right next to this one that we already did. Again, leaving a pencil width between the two lines. Create that elongated letter V with the curved top. Then rotate your paper one more time so that the one you just drew is pointing downward. Repeat that again. You'll see there is a little space between your petals. And then I turn it upside down. So the one I started with is pointing down. And we need to fit two more in here to the opposite directions angularly. So I start by imagining if this is up and down, my first diagonal is going to go this way. And my second one will go this way for the two different petals. And now I need to fit one line here and another line there. Add those elongated V's. And you've got the basic beginning step of your petals. Now, if you think any of them are a little too short or imperfect, that's okay. Flowers do not always grow perfect. You'll have some that will have smaller petals, or maybe there's a bigger gap or angle. That's just going to keep your poinsettia looking real. Now we're working on layer 2 now, this highlighted section. So it's peekabooing between each of this layer 1 that we just completed. So to do that, we want to start on one of our petals that we just did, about halfway down that elongated V line. And we're going to do a curve up and then a curve the opposite way that's shorter, almost like a rainbow going this way or a parenthesis shape and then turning the other way. And then we'll come down the opposite direction and curve out, connecting to the petal next to us. Now, each time that we do this, we want to ensure that row 2 is wider or a bigger circle shape than this row 1. So make sure that these points come out further than row 1. So we're going to do that all the way around, creating that kind of Hershey kiss shape, mountaintop petal. Just ensure that these petals get bigger and bigger, or taller and taller as we do each round. Not as you do each petal, just as you do each round. Now we've got 5 more petals in there for round 2. Round 3 is going to start and stop on round 2. So we just did these blue ones that are highlighted here. And now we're going to add the pink in between. The pink is the same shape as the blue, but again, we have to make sure that we go out taller or longer than our other rows so that our flower keeps growing. As petals come out from the center of a flower, they will always get bigger. And if you can't quite tell where to add your petals, you can put your finger over the top of the row 1 petals, and all of row 3 should be right over the top of those. All right, so we've got all the way up to here. And now you can start to break this up. If you have a lot of room left here and you want to add more petals, that's okay. You can just add some more, starting on row 3 and going behind and across. So to find row 3 again, if I put my finger on this petal, this is row 3. And this is row 3 because it's on that petal over 1 and 2. So we're just going to keep adding those across, adding them in wherever you kind of feel like you need a little more space. I did not add any leaves to my flower because I chose to do the background in green to kind of represent the leaves and foliage. So you could choose to do that too. But next we want to shatter our picture by taking our ruler and drawing lines straight over the top of our flower. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Sharpie so you can see these really well and have them stand out. Our goal is that every single flower petal will have a line going through it. Not necessarily multiple lines, but at least one line. How you achieve that is up to you. I recommend twisting your ruler and changing directions often and going all the way from one edge of the paper to the other. You don't want to have all of your lines crisscrossing in the same place so it looks like a starburst, like, I guess I don't have that drawn there, but so that these are all like crisscrossing like an X. We want to have spaces in between them, creating interest and have something fun to color. Because the more different shapes that you have within here, the more fun it is to color. And I like to color in color families. So I chose pinks and reds for my original flower, but I've also done this project in blues. I've done this in purples. You can do it in any shades and colors that you like. It does not have to be Christmassy colors at all. Poinsettias are beautiful flowers any time of the year. They're just particularly popular during the winters or Christmas season. Once you have quite a few lines in there, look through and see if there's any petals that aren't divided yet. This one right here has no line through it. Everything else I think does, but this one doesn't have a very big line. It just divided this tiny little part of the leaf or petal separated. So I want to do something that will go through both of those, maybe like this. There, so now I've got some different shapes and colors that I can do. Next, you want to look in your background, see if there's any sections that are really big. It's not fun to color a large area and have it all one color. It's more fun to have it broken up into little pieces. So I'm going to bring some more lines down here to break up that big section into a couple of smaller sections. That's good. And then same, you can even have some little lines creating interest going really nowhere, barely adding any sections, but it still visually will help. Once you've added all of your lines in, go ahead and outline all of your pencil lines. You're just going to take and go right over the top of wherever you added your sidelines here and your flowers. And then when we color this, I start with my flower, and you're going to color like this petal that I'm outlining right now has a line through the middle. So this petal will be 2 different colors. Now it can be all reds and pinks, but it will be 2 different shades of that color. And then I like to ensure that whatever color I color one section, it's not touching that same color even on another petal. So for example, if I were to draw or color this one red and this one pink, let's just say that I only have 1 red and 1 pink for this example, I would not color this one pink because it's pink right here, but I could color it red because it's not really touching. It's got this tiny little connector, but this would be a whole different color down here. So this section could be red. So just spread out the colors as you add them to your picture and decide what you like. I can't wait to see what color you chose or how you chose to use this. I've done these as placemats. I've done them as gift tags. I've done them as framed art for people. They're just really fun to create and have fun with, and people love them. Don't forget to post your finished project either in our student forum on Facebook, Studio CIA Student Projects, or on our website in our community forum, linked below. Be sure to come back for another drawing soon. Bye, everyone.